everybody, how's it going? What is up? Remember me, it's certainly been a minute once again since my last video, but it's not weekly anymore, let's be honest. At least we're still going here, unlike earlier MGF Extra days. But you remember a couple weeks ago when I was like, hey, Peter 2, super close being a finished figure, then we're doing the showcases, the videos are gonna be rolling out. I did get part 1 of the exclusive tutorial series up on Patreon. Part 2 is coming up pretty soon. However, now I still do have some work to do on Peter 2 on the sides of his legs with the remaining webbing on the boots and a little bit on the back of the belt and stuff, but mostly it's a 85% finished figure. Hey, butting in from the future, actually this vlog is already kind of outdated. I finished the Tobey Spider-Man suit like a week ago at this point, so I'm already moving forward on those videos as soon as I finish editing this vlog, and I am so happy that I'm finally done painting Spidey suits. And this week, actually, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is about to release.
I wonder what they're going to do with Daredevil in the MCU.
I'm really excited for Black Panther Wakanda Forever because obviously with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, it's, you know, been a really bittersweet road to this movie. And I mean, obviously for the cast and really the whole world, but, you know, we're really excited to see it because obviously I think it's become pretty clear in the trailers. I don't really think it's much of a spoiler to say that Shuri is probably donning the Black Panther suit, of course, Letitia Wright. And I'm just so excited to see the forces of Wakanda and all of these characters in the cast, and the people of Wakanda have to go up against Namor and his people coming from, you know, under the sea. Under the sea. But that being said, no, I'm really looking forward to it tomorrow. I'll definitely film some thoughts on the movie after seeing it. I'm not doing a showcase or anything necessarily because, of course, I'm still sticking to the plan with the No Way Home project and the Avengers Endgame project as promised. Oh man, it's already November and we're heading for Thanksgiving. Okay. So yeah, this guy is back. You might have seen him in the March vlog, and he's flown all the way back from Portland, Oregon, all the way across the entire country. Griffin is back. What is up, bro?
I wonder what they're going to do with Daredevil.
And this is going to be his new house. What do you think?
$1,500 a month minimum, no doubt.
Just got the key.
We'll figure it out.
What is your review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
11 out of 10. Oscar nominee for sure, at the very least.
We haven't seen it yet. It's been a few days and Griffin and I came back in the rain. I don't really quite know why. Just me cutting in from the future here for a second because I'm so excited to announce I finished the work on Tobey Maguire's Peter 2 with all 3 web slingers completed. Finally, a little bit later than I would have liked because I know in the last vlog or 2 ago I was like, yep, he's gonna be done like tomorrow and we're moving forward. Next 2 weeks we're gonna have videos, it's gonna be great. And then it's been like a month already since that. I don't know what happened, but either way, it was a really fantastic moment to finally arrive at, to complete the work on Peter 2, because not only is Peter 2, Tobey Maguire's suit, my favorite of the 3 Spideys, but I'm done painting Spider-Man suits. This has been it. This year, working on these, testing my abilities as a LEGO customizer, so focused in hand paintwork. This level of micro painting tested every facet of my ability to do this kind of precision paint work. But this means I'm going to be able to do the previews now. I'm going to also be able to do the main comparison video, comparing it to the original 2002 Raimi minifigure by LEGO, and then finally the showcase before wrapping everything up with the proper web slingers video as promised all the way at the start of the year. That means it'll be finally the first benchmark showcase for the Spider-Man No Way Home project, and then as promised in my YouTube channel polls, I'll be moving back on to Smart Hulk, and then I'll be finishing Thor minifigures I got so far into back in 2020 that I just never got around to finishing, because obviously the Endgame project is still something I know so many of you guys, and certainly I myself, never lost interest in, or at least I never lost interest in, and still really want to see it through. And these 2 projects are so so important to me, and that's why I have not deviated, and that's why I will not deviate until both of them are done, because they are the two projects that mean the most to me. And so that being said, just thank you guys so much for your patience with all of this. I know it's just taken so much longer to complete the work on these, but obviously really hand painting a Spider-Man suit in Lego with all of the detail, all really hyper organized with all the different texture marks, all done by hand, everything by hand. It's some of the most time consuming and tedious and just challenging paint work I have ever done. And that's a big part of why my minifigures take so much longer now as well. It's not the same level of work these last 2 years that it was maybe before. Because, I mean, when you look at minifigures like the ones that I did really fast, or Zack Snyder's Justice League last year, Superman, Cyborg, Aquaman, again, 2 of those are some of the most challenging minifigures I've ever done. And then Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, I can instantly just name those 3 as also being some of the hardest minifigures I've ever made. And then these 3 Spider-Men, they very well might be the 3 hardest minifigures I have ever put together for a single showcase. I don't know. Because the level of work that goes into cleanly and precisely fully hand painting Lego Spider-Man suits is not something to be understated. But that's why I'm excited to get into more of that process with part 2 over on my Patreon of how to make your own custom Lego Spider-Man suits. And you can join me over there if you're interested in whatever reason in taking the dive into this crazy challenging world of doing all of this work by hand. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I'm still going here, and I will keep going until these 2 projects are seen through to the end. And with all that said, let's keep the vlog going. All right, another jump cut to the next part. At this point, Griffin's already been gone for a couple days already, but I did pick up a couple cool things, because we have at this point, between the March trip that he took here to the one this past week, him and I went to a bunch of comic book stores, and basically every single one in the local region, and I picked up some really random stuff. I got the Smart Hulk Funko Pop because, believe it or not, I mean, I have a really rigid series of rules when it comes to buying Funko Pops, because they can be so addicting and overwhelming if you just start buying all the ones that you like. And so for me, it's like the Funko Pops have got to be really close to my heart. They got to matter to me a lot, and so that's why I decided to, kind of like with my Hot Toys collection, actually, you know, I'm going to cap it at the Infinity Saga, and the Marvel collection goes no further with Funko Pops. So just Infinity War and Endgame and like one of each Avenger and Thanos, and that's it for Funko Pops. And believe it or not, all these years later, I'm still working up to that with the Funko Pops. I still don't have a lot of them. I also got this one randomly at Target, Haja Estria, of course, Kumail Nanjiani's character from Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is just kind of a wild thing to see after standing next to the guy so many days on set. But I also got this, which I just dropped. But it's just a box. It's really cool, and it's honestly, to me at least, really reminiscent of kind of the early 2000s run of Captain America comics. I mean, obviously it's not just that. It almost seems like there's a bit of everything in this artwork, but it is really cool. And so I thought this would make for a really cool box to hold some things in here in the collection. And so I picked it up, and that was honestly a pretty good, it was like 10 bucks, huh? Damn. I walked out of a comic shop with just an actual box. This guy came in the mail too while Griffin was here. Check that out. Marvel Legends Moon Knight, such an awesome figure. Been anticipating this for a while, since the premiere of the series, like over 6 months ago now or whatever. And it's just really cool, man, and kind of special in some ways, because this is also among the final figures that will be featured in the window packaging that we've all known for so many years. Because as you might know, Hasbro has decided to kind of ditch plastic altogether for the packaging and close over that window so that it's just printed cardboard with a graphic and render of the figure on the front. So my days as a mostly carded collector are pretty much wrapping up here, and Moon Knight here is among the final figures that I will be leaving in the packaging. Also, I got a pretty cool thing, which I actually put the box kind of like, that's my Dremel tool. I realized that looked incredibly awkward. That's my Dremel tool and like a bike lock. If we got this out of the, trying not to drop this too, man, with one hand, this stuff gets hard. This is the Kotobukiya Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars Season 7 statue, which is so cool. And I've had my eye on this one since like summer of 2021. I remember being out in California to work on Obi-Wan and the pictures of this coming out right around that time. So that's how long it's been since this was like first announced, and I've had it on my list pretty much like since the start of the year when final production started shipping out, and you gotta see this. And man, it's been a while since I've used this space. I haven't done a review here in probably almost 2 years at this point, which is kind of depressing actually. But as you can see, this Kotobukiya Ahsoka statue is really fantastic because Kotobukiya Star Wars statues have always had just a top tier level of quality dating all the way back to when the Clone Wars series was airing, when they were doing Season 1 and Season 2 statues. And then for them to come back with Ahsoka and Rex from the Season 7 finale episode, plus the Bad Batch, has just been so remarkable. I won't be getting the Bad Batch, but this one was essential. And again, I really just cannot stress enough how phenomenal the quality is. And in my opinion, this is the only piece of Star Wars The Clone Wars merchandise from the Siege of Mandalore to, of course, perfectly capture the animated style of the series. And you can also see that this is only one half of the statue because Captain Rex is offered separately, and then it connects magnetically, I think, if there even are magnets in here, maybe not, to this half of the base, which is so cool. The Venator floor, after Ahsoka has used the Force with her 2 blades to slice a hole through. And this is just amazing and really did not disappoint. I've really kind of had some qualms and criticisms with other statue companies like Gentle Giant, and they've had a lot more quality control problems, but Kotobukiya always deliver. These Japanese imported pieces are fantastic every time, and I held off for probably over a year to get this one, and I can't wait to finish it out and eventually get Captain Rex. I'll probably get a rotating table for both of them once I have the full statue assembled. And I also got this, check it out, Star Wars Insider number 214, issue 214. I used some clear pieces as some bookmarks, but as you can see, this is like the first issue that covers the Obi-Wan Kenobi series in detail. And with the Saturn Awards bit, we've got a picture from the ship set which we were on, which is so cool to see in a magazine like this. I remember what those floors were like, man. And then this section, I skipped all the way in their Obi-Wan Kenobi breakdowns to the 2 episodes that we were in. And man, this is just so cool to read about after the fact. This meant so much to me and everybody on that set. And this is just, I mean, a really surreal thing to read about in these articles and what we were doing in the story after the fact, now that it's been officially released, not only by Lucasfilm and also in the Star Wars Insider magazine, but obviously by various publishers. Also, Griffin and I checked out a little game shop, and we managed to find, thanks to him, the Star Wars Republic comic from the early 2000s depicting the Battle of Jabim. This was a really crazy fight, and it was just one of the bloodiest of the whole Clone Wars. So many Jedi and clones died, and it was just a crazy campaign. We really didn't see anything quite like this in the CGI series, but definitely the early 2000s focused on what an actual military campaign would have been like for the Republic and CIS. And it wouldn't just be these battles that lasted a day or so, but, you know, months, and it would be bloody and terrible. And just, this is exactly what the Battle of Jabim depicts. And I mean, to see it from this comic extended over into new canon in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, in the episode that we were all primarily in, inside that base underneath Jabim's surface, it's just remarkable to have the originating comic and the physical copy of it. So that was really cool too. Thanks again to Griffin for that.
I wonder what they're going to do with Daredevil in the MCU.
All right, now let's talk about Andor, episodes 9 and 10. Of course, this is the episode that really is another tension builder. We're seeing Mon Mothma back in the Senate Rotunda on Coruscant. We're seeing, obviously, just none of the senators really buying into anything that she has to say, and they're literally turning off their platforms and no longer even participating in the meeting. It's really crazy. But also, Andor is stuck inside the prison, and the oldest of the group, working the line with him, winds up having a stroke, and then a doctor gets called in, and all the while this is going on, we realize that Vel, I think, is the cousin of Mon Mothma, and is also living a double life, and visits her on Coruscant, which is wild and really cool. But also, you've got the reveal that 100 prisoners inside Narkina 5's prison, at least this one they're in, were killed. Just put on the floor and executed because they discovered that one of the prisoners who was supposedly let go and released accidentally wound up back on their floor and not at some other off-world prison or elsewhere where they could tell everybody that no one was leaving. And allegedly and possibly based on the Aldani heist, with the restrictions now being clamped down, empire-wide, galaxy-wide, no prisoners are getting out, possibly ever. And that was the moment that breaks Kino Loy. And we also have Cyril kind of stalking Dedra Meero and confronting her outside the ISB headquarters, which was pretty ballsy. But no, this episode 9 was really cool, man. I thought that it just really ended spectacularly, of course, with the final line from Andy Serkis delivered really well. How many guards on each level? Never more than 12. Kino Loy was ready for the prison break, and that is exactly what this episode is. And Kino Loy, by obviously necessity and with a push from Cassian, has to take matters into his own hands now and lead the prisoners of level 5 to freedom that they otherwise were never going to get back, staying there for the Empire. And so the prison break episode, after they all arrange for exactly what they should do, they come up with a plan. It's so spectacular, and they short circuit the floor. So many of the prisoners get shot, but it's so uplifting and so inspiring because they successfully get out. And I do have the episode kind of playing in the background temporarily to kind of remind me of all the amazing events and performances that came here. But of course, Andor escapes with Melshi, and that's obviously great for setting up Rogue One. Melshi, same actor from Rogue One. And then we get to see that Lonnie, the ISB officer on Coruscant at the HQ, he is actually Luthen Rael's spy. And that was spectacular because he descends so far into the underworld and the underbelly of Coruscant, you can't even begin to tell how far down they actually are by the time he reaches Luthen. And the dialogue, the monologue that is delivered by Stellan Skarsgård here, "What is your sacrifice?" is a moment for the Star Wars history books. I mean, calm, kindness, kinship, and he goes into this whole spectacular speech that is written so well about all that he has given, basically his life, and everything that he knows and could have known otherwise to help build the rebellion for a sunrise that he knows he will never see. And that is exactly the rebellion in Star Wars. Sacrifice after sacrifice, handing the baton to the next guy after the one before him falls. All to build toward Luke Skywalker firing those torpedoes into the Death Star and setting the galaxy on fire to burn the Empire down. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. The world building is spectacular, but what was the biggest highlight of this incredible prison break episode, from this amazingly well put together and well designed prison, and all of which inside this giant body of water are all built in the shape of the Empire's insignia, which was so cool of a reveal. Kino Loy is revealed to be unable to swim. He doesn't jump, as everybody else is. He knew right from the start, if the Empire wasn't going to release them, he certainly wasn't going to be able to escape even via a prison riot, because he can't swim, and he knew what was outside the base. And that makes Kino Loy, Andy Serkis' performance, that much more deep, that much more rich, because he was so noble in knowing that he was leading these men to freedom, but that he would never have it himself and would be left behind, sacrificing himself for everyone inside this prison. And he also delivers an amazing speech before that. But really, that moment of acceptance and the smile that creeps up on his face right as Cassian is knocked off before he can even react to what's going on. Andy Serkis is a class act. And as much as I would have loved for him to play a Sith Lord in Star Wars somewhere, his performance here is also one for history books in one episode. My God, man, just I can't wait to see where the final 2 episodes of Andor are going to be taking us. It seems that to draw some more exposure to the series, Disney is taking some of the channels that they own on, you know, like cable with FX, I think, and also Hulu and Freeform, and just putting Andor on there to stream live for anybody to watch, which is pretty wild. That being said, I hope that that works out, and I'm okay with any shows that they deem necessary also not being on Disney Plus if it means more exposure and these projects like Andor still get to get made because they're so amazing and phenomenal and well done. That just because it's a story focusing on smaller characters doesn't mean that it deserves to not be seen by the world. And I think Disney has also come to the same conclusion. They're still moving forward with Andor Season 2, so thank God we will get to see this story seen through to the end, all the way up until Rogue One. But with all of that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the vlog there. I know it's been another long one. I kind of have been playing catch up with every single one of these, considering I've been having to skip more weeks recently. And thank you guys again for being so patient with me. And I'll see you next time. All right, take care. May the Force be with you, and keep creating. Bye-bye.
4 months we were, has it hit the port yet? Has it hit the port yet? Has it hit the port yet? Well, the MCU.
And we're really excited.
Keep going.
You just break your knee? Did you just sprain your knee again?
No, but keep going. Seriously.
Alright guys, this is it. We're going to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever by walking away from the theater. You might remember this guy. What? Griffin is really excited for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Griffin is looking for his new home to squat in. So yeah, you guys might remember a certain guy from the March vlog, Griffin.
What's going on, guys?
He's back, all the way from Portland, Oregon.
This is my favorite thing ever.
It's my custom Daredevil. Wow. It was like some shameless self-promo in there, but I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what they're going to do with Daredevil in the MCU.
He can't hold it. And he's back. We'll be checking out some mountains. What's up, Griffin?
Let's do that again. Let's do that again later.